Hi there. Today we're talking about some sleazy Minnesota lawyers that you might like to have a heads up about. We believe they helped two criminals prey on our dying friend, Jim. Michele Loughrey Tschida defended nurse Crystal MacLeod. Michele took in $22,500 minimum, paid by the estate even. And she took this money to help Crystal MacLeod get away with swindling nearly $300,000 from the estate of her dying patient, our friend Jim. Joe Barnett was Crystal's second lawyer. These criminals needed multiple lawyers to get away with what they had done. The details are in this video, but in a nutshell, Crystal had done things like drafting and preparing the contract for deed that gave her the house for free. She got herself into Jim's will as his executor, which we got her kicked out of when we contested the will. She harassed Jim countless times for money. Please reimburse me that $500. So that's $1,100 again. Can you please do the reimbursement like we talked? If things weren't so tight here, I wouldn't ask for money. And this was when Jim was in the hospital. She was harassing him. Hi, Crystal, I'm not really ignoring you. I was in the hospital the last 2 weeks of January. And she harassed him even when Jim said he was broke. As for paying you, I am broke now. Crystal even got Jim to give her $2,000, driving over to his house, writing up the check, and getting him to sign it. This was after she had been fired by her agency, coercing him again as he lay dying. And like I mentioned earlier, Crystal got $22,500 from the estate for her lawyer's fees to get away with her swindle. Michele emailed me that she saw, quote, no issues with Crystal MacLeod's conduct, and that Crystal was, quote, entitled to the house she had swindled. But Crystal later admitted what she did was criminal. This was during an investigation by the Minnesota Board of Nursing. Crystal admits she broke the law. Licensee acknowledges the conduct described in Section 3 above constitutes a violation of Minnesota law. Nancy Lee Nelson was Crystal's third lawyer to help her get away with her crimes. This lawyer helped her get off from the nursing board with just a slap on the wrist. All Crystal had to do was admit she was guilty, and then she got to keep her $300,000 swindle. These are very seriously integrity compromised people posing as lawyers. Now, Michele likely told Crystal to team up with convicted pedophile Forrest Birnel. Forrest had also gotten himself into Jim's will, getting Jim's house plus whatever cash was left. Forrest, he may have helped Jim, but there was a lot more to the story. He seems to be attracted to vulnerable individuals. So he sexually assaulted a vulnerable child, and then we believe he preyed upon Jim, who was a vulnerable adult. So first of all, we found out that Forrest was a sexual felon. When the two criminals teamed up here, Forrest and Crystal, it really weakened our position, and we had to settle. The details are in this video, but in a nutshell, Forrest knew that Jim's cash would run out after 6 months, and that a medical assistance lien could then be put on the house, which meant that Forrest would have nothing to inherit. Forrest wrote out $14,000 in checks to himself, signing them himself before Jim died, just days before Jim died. Jim never found out about these checks because he died. Forrest had Jim cremated right away, and Jim died of cardiac arrest, not breathing issues, which is what people with ALS usually die from. Forrest's girlfriend Mary Verway was a nurse, and she was also living at the house for free. She might have been paying utility bills. Lawyer John Culbert defended Forrest and helped him get Jim's house and estate. Note that the remaining $150,000 was blown on lawyers' bills and other estate costs. Culbert himself taking home over $31,000. So Culbert came to court with various bags of tricks. Here are some of them. He made frivolous, excessive motions, but the judge said, I don't want to see a motion fest in this case. Anytime we would get a victory, he would try to walk it back. The judge refused to hear a sanctions motion since he didn't ask. He would stall, file at the last minute, miss deadlines, such as exhibits, which were mailed 12 days late. He would say he was going to get us something by a certain date, then he wouldn't. And in our case, it kind of seemed like he was out of it, like he wasn't aware of the details of what was going on. He also did things like pushing mediation before discovery was completed. Mediation is normally scheduled after discovery is completed. Then he contacted a specific mediator who we never agreed to, Then he tried to say that the premature mediation would include mediation about discovery issues. You don't mediate discovery issues. Needless to say, we didn't agree with what he was pushing. Jodi Lindskog was Forrest's second lawyer. She apparently claims to be a Christian. Here she is on the board of a Christian charity. This is the type of person that always seems to need a handler. Needs to be told what to do. So Culbert acted as her handler, and he told her what to do, and she did it without thinking. Quite a Christian. So those are 5 sleazy lawyers in Minnesota, of many, that were willing to do anything for money. Best way to follow me? Subscribe to my newsletter, link is in the text. And may you have a sleaze-free day.